Let's get straight into it. So obviously, earlier this week, it's been a long week, but last week, I beg your pardon, on the 22nd, we had Andy Burnham announce that he would want to stand in the Gorton and Denton parliamentary as a candidate to return to Parliament, to stand as an MP in the Gorton and Denton district. Essentially, what's happened is he wrote to the National Executive Committee of the Labour Party in order to try to convince them to allow him to enter the selection process to get back into Parliament. To stand as a candidate for the constituency. However, what's happening? He's been blocked from standing as said candidate due to his role as mayor. Now, what I want to ask you is, do you think that was the right decision to do that, Aiden?
Well,
as a Manchester resident yourself, I know you're not from Denton, are you?
No, I am from Manchester though, and I think I have somewhat of a presence to speak on the topic. I think Andy Burnham has been great in a lot of things he's done. I mean, there's certainly areas where he's better than others. Obviously, what he's done for Manchester just in general, I mean, you start with what comes to mind initially is the transport, and you know how he's integrated all the transport systems together.
Yeah, in the B network.
B network.
Obviously, we've got the buses. For anyone who isn't from Manchester who might be listening, what I'm talking about is we've got a bit like Transport for London in Manchester, where around the combined authority, Greater Manchester, we've got the buses, trains and trams that come under. So you pay for it's a single tap-in system, a bit like an Oyster card in London, where you can travel between different places. So you think he's done a good job on transport? What else do you think he's done a decent job on as mayor?
I think he's just the way he speaks as well. I think his character is a good reason why he's done well as well, because the way he speaks about things, he's got
charismatic.
Yeah, he's charismatic, and I've been up close with him a few times actually. He comes to my college, and I was speaking to him, and he seems like a really top guy.
Do you think he speaks the people's language?
Yeah, I think. Well, he's known as the King of the North, isn't he? So, I think definitely in terms of being with the people, that's almost one of his benefits. He certainly gets most of the people, speaks for the common person, the everyday person, and I think that's what people like about him. Whether that could go on to bigger things and could be an MP and eventually run for Prime Minister is a different matter.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that, because the reason that the National Executive Committee of the Labour Party, who's actually chaired by the Home Secretary, what they've said is that it would be too costly, because he's already a sitting mayor.
Yeah.
It would be too costly to have another mayoral election in order to obviously fill that space, whilst Andy Burnham obviously cannot be a potential MP, and he cannot be the mayor at the same time.
Yeah.
The last mayoral election cost taxpayers £4.7 million. And so what they're saying is the government that
it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, and the Bottom Party is saying it's a waste of money, and it would be disproportionate. And also, Keir Starmer mentioned it. It's not here, but he also mentioned. I've got the statement in front of me that it would be. Triggering an unnecessary election for position of Greater Manchester Mayor would have a substantial and disproportionate impact on party campaign resources ahead of the local elections and elections to Scottish Parliament and the Welsh Assembly in May. But Leo, do you think that it's right to particularly... do you think it's right to take away his ambition to return to Parliament? This is a man who has believed that he's done a good job, obviously, and he said there was no legitimate reason. Reform, funnily enough, have actually said there's no legitimate reason. Nigel Farage said that, to block Burnham from being asked if he can go through the process. Do you think he should have been allowed to make a case for himself?
Well, as Ian said, he's done a lot of good stuff around Manchester. I mean, me personally, I've never been here before, but one of the things I can ring true is that transport's always been amazing. You know, that's just one good thing that you always notice every day. He's made an effect. And even though if he were to try and make that attempt, it would cost a lot of money, I don't really see the harm. I mean, it's not the first time that government spent big money on something. So to have someone that can make change and make change to the people around us, noticeable change, I say let him go for it.
It's interesting you say that. I was vox popping earlier this week for a news day, and I was in Denton, and what the few people who would speak to me, what they were saying was that, yeah, Andy Burnham should be allowed to make a case for himself. He's very well liked in Manchester. Some people were making the case that they don't particularly like Labour, but they like him as the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
And based on that reason, he should be allowed to stand. What some people did allude to was the fact that it's more than just admin. Now, I'll bring you in on this, Aiden. They believe that it's actually Keir Starmer is actually scared of a potential leadership challenge.
Yeah.
To his position as Prime Minister is why Burnham has been ultimately prevented from standing as a candidate. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, well, I mean, Sir Keir Starmer was among 8 NEC members who voted to bar Burnham, which, I mean, it says it all really personally, that the sitting Prime Minister has decided to not let him back in. And maybe I think it's because Burnham does pose a threat to Starmer. Obviously, his ratings are not the highest at the moment.
His ratings are diabolical, actually, and that's not me saying it. That's an actual fact. So the last time that they were polled on YouGov, on the 29th of December, so relatively recently, 73% of voters believe that the Prime Minister was doing poorly, with 27% believing that he was doing well or unsure. So put it in that context, 27% were either, yeah, he's doing a good job, or I don't know.
Yeah.
That's mixed together. So if you were to split it, it would be roughly, 17%, 13%?
Yeah.
No, that's not right.
Well, it would be a very small amount.
Yeah, it'd be a very small amount of people who actually thought he's doing a good job. That's the point I'm trying to make here. Do you think that those... And you can comment on this as well, Leo. Do you think that the Prime Minister is very, very conscious that he's disliked so widely, according to the polls? And do you think that what do you think he'll do? I know this sounds very drastic, but what do you think he'll do to cling on for as long as possible?
Well, I mean, I know we was talking about this a bit before the show started, that in the elections there was a broken Tory party, essentially, that had lost the trust of the British public. Yeah. And it wasn't like the British public chose Starmer. It was like he was the only other option, if you know what I mean. And you can see that in the recent polls. And the performance hasn't been great from the government, or at least public perception of the performance. I mean, what do you think of it?
Well, I remember when the votes were coming around, and really, you're right, Starmer felt like the only real choice.
Yeah.
I mean, what Labour was it? I forget. Anyway, what they were proposing was just controversial, I would say, to the public. And honestly, as I said, the party was divided, and that divided the people, and so that kind of opened the door for Starmer to come in. Now, if he's doing a bad job, I think he's there because he knows that it was the right time, it was the perfect time. He got in there just when he could. So he's going to stay as long as he can and kind of hope that, his time there is spent at least well enough where he can stay around.
I mean, what do you think this means, though, going forward for Labour? Because I'm going to read you a quote and a tweet here, and then we'll move on. Ian Byrne from Liverpool West Derby, he's an MP, said that he accused Starmer and his inner circle of being prepared to gift Gorton and Denton to reform if it means protecting their own fractional interests. These are his words. If you're reform, and I'll tell you what the voters said after you've had your say, if you were reform candidate, would you be rubbing your hands together thinking, yeah, Labour are in a bit of a... Conservatives are a little bit in a shambolic state at the moment. Labour, there is this, Denton Gorton have become this almost battleground for what appears to be a bit of a civil unrest within the party. If you're reform, is this a through ball for you, do you think?
Absolutely. I think they're only helping reform by causing all of this, like you said, civil unrest, civil war, I would say. It's like, it's unheard of. I mean, they are just shooting themselves in the foot. I think Farage will be looking, and reform. Obviously, lots of Conservatives have come out in the last week or so and have moved across.
Defected, yeah.
Defected.
Yeah, we had Suella Braverman the other day defecting to reform. So you're absolutely right, yeah.
Yeah, and I think all the momentum is with reform.
Yes.
I think absolutely.
What do you think, Leo?
I think you're right. I think when momentum's coming, you have to follow it. I think it would be hard for Labour to really get their spot back. You go where the people are going, and the people are going to reform, I think is all I can really say. Yeah,
and just on that, I think...
well, the next general election will be held no later than the 15th of August, 2029.
Yeah.
So that's just over 3 years now. It seems like only the other day that Labour got in. But, I mean... I don't want to say this off the top of my head because I don't want to be making up facts and stats. But when I was out vox popping, a lot of people did say, and this is something which Labour have to be aware of, reform are very popular. The voters, all of them intended to vote for the reform candidate, even though they liked Andy Burnham. Some of them personally liked him because of what he's done as mayor. When it came to a party support, reform and the reform revolution is what they were going for. And speaking of revolutions, I think we have to shift gears to something very different now. Revolution has gone into crisis. So, if you're a student and you're planning to go out to Revolution de Cuba on Oxford Street this week, or in... where was the other one? I can't remember. Something Garden. Parsonage Gardens, the Revolution bar there. Sorry, buddy, you're going to have to go somewhere else. They've ceased closing. The bar's shut. Last orders have been taken. It's... I mean, look... We can make jokes, but when 591 people are out of work and have lost their jobs, it's no laughing matter, is it?
Wow.
It's nearly 600, I mean...
Nearly 600 people. And in this current economy, inflation went up the other day. Charlie, could you find the inflation stat for me? Because it did go up a little bit. It's no laughing matter. People are struggling, and they have been since COVID, really. I mean, what do you? I mean, what are your lads? What are your thoughts on just the general decline of sort of the entertainment nighttime economy in this country?
Yeah, well, it's certainly in this country, not just in Manchester, but all over the country, in terms of like tourism economies closing down. Like coastal towns who are suffering massively. Where they are historically poor. I mean, you've got lots of closing all over the country. Revolution. So I think you've got a stat there on the.
Yeah. So in October, when the budget came out, the autumn budget in October came out. The Chancellor Rachel Reeves said that they increased national insurance contributions and employers and announced a rise in minimum wage. However, that has seemingly come at odds with hospitality sectors, and that's one of the reasons that Revel Collective, who are the operating company, the company that actually own Revolution. So the brands that they own is Revolution Bars, as we know, Revolution de Cuba, and what's the other one? Peach, thingy pub.
Peach Pub?
Peach Pub, that's it, yeah, thank you. So I think we've got 14 Revolution Bars closing, one Peach Pub, and I can't remember the 6. So it's 21 venues altogether are closing around the country. And however, it's not all bad, because 41 sites will be retained because NEOS Hospitality Group have acquired Revolution and De Cuba brands. So that's going to save 1,582 jobs, which is good news, obviously. But, I mean, just going back to it, so it says here that on Tuesday, it said Rachel Reeves said earlier this month there was an additional support coming, that the government announced that pubs and music venues in England will be given a 15% discount on their business rates bills from April. Do you think that has to happen for kind of the sector, hospitality, entertainment, nighttime sector? Is that what? Yeah. I
think one big thing was I've noticed this decline, especially around COVID days, because everyone was told to stay home, and then people realised I can have just as much fun at home as I can on a night out. And some people have sticked with that mentality even when pubs and everything like that opened up. And it's going to take a while to get back to where we were. So yeah, I think this 15% discount is going to really help local businesses. It's going to help keep jobs. And I do think it's absolutely necessary.
I mean, talking on nights, when did you become legal?
When did you become legal?
Where are we going with this?
That's a wild question.
In August.
This year?
2025, yeah.
Last year.
Yeah.
What about you, Leo?
I became legal, for you to know, was 2 years ago. Yeah, July.
Yeah. So you haven't neither of you have known pre-COVID nighttime.
Yeah.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Nightlife, if that makes sense. Neither have I, for that matter, because I turned 18 in 2020. So yeah. So basically, firstly, I'm always the hills.
Yeah, I was about to say
I'm ancient.
1 foot in the grave already.
Yeah, I'm almost a skeleton. I've got teeth coming out, all sorts, eyes popping out, all sorts. But basically, what I was saying was, neither of you would have known pre-COVID.
Yeah.
But apparently, the Nighttime Association in 2023, and I was actually speaking to someone from the Nighttime Association earlier. More than a quarter of town cities that had at least one nightclub in 2020 now have none at all. And the places where they closed down in very student-heavy populations, Nottingham and Manchester, Plymouth, Leeds, are very student-heavy. Sort of the place where you would expect revs to do quite well, and other bars and so forth. But I mean, it begs the question, what's an 18-year-old going to do?
I'll never get to experience.
I know
the greatness.
So R.I.P. to the Latina nights in Revolution de Cuba.
I know you've been to a few of them.
I went to one.
You went to one?
One, yeah, one.
One.
Only one. I don't know, what do you think I am? And if you went to Revs, you may know that they do vodka, and in the vodka, you'll get chunks of ice. And that's where we're off to next, to a very cold and wet and snowy Minnesota, where things aren't good. Things aren't going well. No, this is very serious, and we're going to talk about this. So essentially, I'm going to bring you in on this, Leo, because I know that you've had some notes. Operation Metro Surge was initiated in December 2025, and it targeted the twin cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul and expanded to all of Minnesota. It's caused a hell of a row there because of some very serious and fatal incidents. What's been going on, Leo? Tell us all about it.
Well, I think the big thing that you've noticed is everyone. Ice has moved across the US, Minnesota especially, and people just aren't happy, rightfully, I think. I mean, people are in the streets, and whenever ICE comes to take anyone, you will see crowds of people around, yelling at them, throwing things at them when they can. And of course, ICE being ICE, they react their own way. There have been many, many cases where ICE will, without lethal force, even though it doesn't make it hurt any less, will attack protesters, anything like that try and get in their way. But more importantly, the people that they are actually targeting. There has been, since ICE was instated, I think if I have the statistic right on my mind, was 20 cases where a firearm from ICE was fired. In 8 of those cases, people were injured. In 5 of those cases, people died. We know 2. I think it was Good. Everyone knew Good.
Good, yeah.
And Keith. I'm losing his last name. He was the most recent.
Oh, Alex Pretty.
Was it Alex?
Yeah, Alex Pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
It was the most recent killing, yeah.
It's a shame to see that this is where the world is right now. But, and it's even more to see that how the media spins Alex Pretty's death. I mean, he was loved by his community. He was a nurse.
Yeah, he was an intensive care nurse.
And the only reason that you saw in the news was because he had a firearm on him, which was true, but he wasn't reaching for it. He wasn't doing anything. He was just trying to get in between ICE and a poor person that they were trying to get. And
just for context, because I suppose to us the idea of walking around with a firearm seems very, very alien. Yeah. In the United States, he held a license for his weapon. Like you said, he was not brandishing it. He was not threatening agents of ICE or police with it. He was not making any threatening gestures or motions toward it. He was simply shot for having it on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was shot for having it on him. That is what that was the statement that came out. I believe, I don't know if you saw this, well, I actually got Donald Trump's reaction here. He wrote on Truth Social, "Could someone in his inner sanctum please explain that this statement is a very serious violation of the law and that he's playing with fire?" We're not talking about Alex Pretty here.
Well, that was in response to the Minneapolis mayor, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was in response to Minneapolis mayor Jacob Frey. I mean, this is someone that I watch quite a lot made the point that there's a constitution, it presents an almost constitutional crisis because the White House has come out in defence of his shooting. However, he was shot for possessing a weapon. And I don't know the exact wording of the Constitution of the United States.
Freedom to bear arms, I believe it is.
But it's written in the Constitution, enshrined in law, that people have the right to bear arms in the United States. Whether you agree with that or not, that is the law in the United States, okay? That's federal law. Doesn't matter which state you're in. So to come out and say, look, it was justified because it had it on him, the weapon on him, presents a constitutional crisis, and it almost shakes almost shakes the foundation of the union, certainly the civil rights there.
Yeah, it's not only the civil rights. I think it just speaks so true to ICE itself as a whole that they are, without question, they will go to lethal force if they want to. Not if they need to, if they want to. And I personally, I mean, I'm British, I have no say really about guns, but I feel like it should never be a first response. It should never be a second response. It should be the last possible option. But with ICE, it just feels like they are trigger happy. If I could be a little opinionated, yeah.
So is it on the people who are hired to do the job for ICE, or is it actually on the policy of ICE themselves?
I think it's a bit of both. I think now, if you are an ICE member, I think you know for a fact the public doesn't agree with what you're doing. A good majority at the very least. And that it's just wrong, but you are making the active choice to put on that uniform to cover your face, and it's just
it's very difficult because obviously the U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement Agency are an active branch of law enforcement in the United States. They do have a job to do. It existed before Trump's administration, and border control is obviously very, very important, and it's a very important agency. But when I said civil rights earlier, that's probably not the right word. I think civil liberties is probably the word which I'm trying to look for. The Department of Homeland Security of the United States say that ICE have arrested more than 3,000 illegal immigrants in Minnesota as part of Operation Metro Surge, including violent offenders, sexual predators, and gang members. However, it's been widely reported that many people who are being arrested, children, that people have been arrested from schools. The operation has disrupted local economy. Schools transitioning to remote learning, and immigration's arrest disrupting everyday business. And actually, there was I should have cued this better, but I think it was the Republican governor of Ohio, I believe, made a statement on CNN where it was on the BBC News the other day, where he was actually questioning the end game, sort of ICE's end game, Trump's end game when it comes to. It wasn't the governor of Ohio, but it was a Republican who was actually questioning, where does this sort of go to? Where does this end? What is the goal here? I mean, we could go over this. We could carry on going over this all evening. We have got other stuff to get into. Obviously, we've got the sport coming up. But no, it's very interesting. It's a developing story. But I mean, look, it's something which is just sort of. I mean, obviously, it's terrible to see the shooting, but it also is comes from a place of where does the United States kind of go from here, you know. You know, as when you see the polarization sort of taking place, not just in the United States, but in this country and in different parts of the world, it just makes you think, where is will open heart surgery be required on politics, in order to kind of bring us back, if you know what I mean, to the centre, away from the extremes. But anyway, look, we're going to move on, talk about America. We're going to be talking about Champions League. We're going to be discussing Tyson Fury making his comeback in April on Netflix, and bit of darts as well. So transition.
Online and on the TuneIn app. This is the News and Sports Show on Utter Radio.
Right, so last night was a busy night in the Champions League, and also we've got Europa League football coming tonight. Arsenal, Bayern... Oh, where's my... Arsenal, Bayern, Liverpool, Spurs. Interestingly, Spurs are fourth up there. Barcelona, Chelsea, Sporting, and Manchester City all safely through. Real Madrid will have to compete in the playoff with Newcastle, PSG, and Inter. What do you make of the Champions League this season, Ryan?
Well, I think initially the format shocked a few people from last year. There was scepticisms going into it, and last year I think it was good, and it showed how necessarily you don't have to be in the top 8 to win it, because PSG come all the way from they wasn't in the top 20 by the end of it last season, and they ended up winning the thing. And of course, last night's action, all games kicking off at the same time, 8 o'clock. It was a it was a true footballing spectacle, shall we say, and the format didn't disappoint, and certainly the games last night didn't disappoint.
What was your biggest result? The one you expected the least?
Yeah, it has to be Benfica. It has to be Benfica for me because, I mean, going to Estadio da Luz in Lisbon is never easy for any away team. However, I mean, to get a result there is never easy. But then again, you are playing
I mean, we had a goalkeeper. Benfica's goalkeeper.
Oh yeah,
third goal was it? Was it the
fourth goal?
Fourth
the last goal.
So it's effectively the winner, the one who sealed it. Yeah.
So I'll explain that to you actually. So obviously we know what's at stake. The last night of the Champions League, Real Madrid had to go there and win to qualify automatically through the top 8, and Benfica essentially were fighting at the bottom of the pack to even just qualify for the playoff phase. And so it was a good game. It was a close game. It was 3-2 for the majority of the second half. And Benfica had to win by 2 goals to go through essentially, and that's why it was so crazy. I mean, and never mind the goalkeeper.
Benfica, for anyone listening or watching who's unfamiliar with the Champions League format, essentially the top 8 of the Champions League go through automatically to a knockout phase. The 9th place downwards to 24th have to compete in a it's playoff, isn't it? To decide who can go through to the round of 16. Yeah, the knockouts. Right, Benfica just about managed to sneak in last door saloon into that 24th place with their win over Real Madrid. Real Madrid 8-time champions, I think.
14 times champions.
14 times champions.
The most ever.
Yeah, arguably one of the maybe not this season, but overall probably one of the greatest teams in the world in history.
The most dominant in Champions League history.
Yeah, exactly. It was in the 96th minute, Benfica, the time wasting, but then said that they had to switch again and scored in the 89th to qualify. But who do you think's going to win the Champions League this season?
Oh, it's so difficult to call. I mean, obviously you're looking at Arsenal unbeaten, which is an unbelievable achievement for them. I think it was the first time anyone's ever done that in the new format. Yeah, won
8 games straight as of 8.
So I think you'd have to be looking at Arsenal as the favourites, as much as it pains me to say, but they do look good, consistent. Have you noticed as well how all the English teams have done well this year? 3 in the top 4.
Yeah, so Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham, Chelsea. Chelsea beat Napoli. Naples last night, and then Newcastle, I beg your pardon, are also in the playoff round as well. They got a draw against PSG away from home. That's a great result for Newcastle, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's one that almost just cancelled each other out in the sense that a win either way would have won. If either of them would have won, they would have secured the top 8 position, and they drew, cancelled each other out. I don't think anyone was happy in Paris, knowing they both had to play an extra 2 games on top of the already heavy schedule.
I mean, Newcastle have been floundering in the league, in the Premier League, but they have come alive in Europe. They won 4 out of 8 and drawn 2, only lost 2. So for Eddie Howe, that would be classed as a good result. But I have to ask you about your going to see Manchester City last night. They actually had. Yeah. That was an interesting one because they were playing Galatasaray from Turkey, and obviously are your parents Turkish?
My dad is Turkish.
Your dad's Turkish, right? Yeah. So how was that? How did you find it?
It was a good experience. Yeah. To be honest, it was surreal. It was my first time seeing a Turkish team play at the Etihad. I think it was the first time that those 2 teams have ever met. So I mean, it was a great atmosphere as well with the flares. They always bring a good atmosphere. I mean, Turkish fans in general, not just Galatasaray. But I think I think it was a good game. City just snuck through, and I mean that just leads on to English dominance in the Champions League, which is I actually was reading an article this morning, and they went on to explain how just the financial element of the Champions League means that because the English Premier League is so far economically superior to the rest of the top 5 leagues and others in Europe, to a point where players for Spurs, who are at the moment a mid-table Premier League team, can just go out and buy £60 million player who is maybe like half the team budget for Kairat Almaty for the whole year, maybe the full team budget. So
you've got Liverpool as well, who are third, and where are they in the Premier League? 6th?
Yeah,
6th in the Premier League. They lost to Bournemouth, and that's not because Bournemouth are bad. That's just
the quality of the league. Yeah,
the quality of the league, like you're talking about. Actually, let's do something very interesting. I don't know if you take any notice of this. Charlie, if you just let me find something for a moment. Actually, could you pull up the Opta Power rankings? Let's see.
Whilst he's doing that, I just want to go on to explain that it's also down to the physicality as well, because English teams, the quality of the league has almost transitioned from this fluid football and more towards direct physical football. So in terms of that, I believe that English teams are dominating physically as well.
Yeah, and that translates as well into how do you believe in the Opta Power rankings?
Well, Opta, so just to explain it for the
so what Opta is essentially, it's an analytics company that collates all the data from around the world, from every football team that there is. And it takes all the data. It's been doing it since 2007, I believe, for the Premier League, and it's just a massive database of football data, information, and it analyses it all. And what it's done is created this league table from 1 to, I think it's the top 100, I believe, teams in the world. And it ranks them depending on form and squad depth and recent results and potential, really. So currently top is Arsenal with an 100% rating. Would you say that's fair, given the top of the Prem and the Champions League? I mean, it just has to be, doesn't it?
Yeah, they are unbeaten as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll bring you and Leo on this.
Yeah. Do you see your team in there?
I think. Oh yeah, Liverpool
5th.
Yeah. A nice comfy spot.
Nice comfy spot. I mean, I just wanted to ask you, like, because I have my own opinions on this, but I wanted to bring you in specifically on this. Do you think that a computer can predict football, or things such volatile as football, where not everything's 1 + 1 = 2?
I think, I think there are some things that a computer can calculate, right? It can calculate how likely a team is maybe to score a goal based on all of its games, but it can't calculate the players themselves.
Yeah.
It can't calculate what their headspace when they're going into it, how they're going to perform, what they're feeling. It can't do that, and that plays a part in the game.
Yeah, and I'm a big believer of almost similar to what you just said in terms of football is a game played in moments, and it's not almost like where you can be down and created nothing, and you can win 1-0 on the counter attack because one ball and deflection or something happens. But so in terms of Opta, I think you obviously take it with a pinch of salt. I mean, I'm going to say I like it because Manchester City are third, higher than what we are in real life. So it just shows its tendencies. But
yeah, Leo, what have you made of Liverpool's season this season?
I think they've done quite well. I mean, personally, I fall in and out of football every so often, but I think now that how they're playing, I mean, they've only lost in this Champions League 2 games, and they've been going strong ever since. I mean, they've got 3 wins in a row, and even to me, I find that impressive. I mean, I've got 2 left feet. I can't do better than them.
Yeah, I mean, they've certainly done better in Europe than they have domestically this season.
Yeah.
I actually watched them play Bournemouth the other night. It was great. From a neutral point of view, it's a fantastic game. It really is. It's like what makes us all keep coming back to football, the last-minute Bournemouth winner. And I think you're right what you're saying. It talks about the strength of the league when you've got AFC Bournemouth who can look at Liverpool and think, right, 2-2, we're not going to sit back and take a point like 10 years ago. We're going to go, we're going to get a winner, and we're going to believe. I mean, where do you think that... Obviously, money plays a part, but it has to come from, as well, coaching, because if you look at... I remember seeing a table from... a list from 2015 and the coaches that were in there. Tony Pulis.
Yeah.
I'm trying,
Sam Allardyce.
Sam Allardyce, Brendan Rodgers. Now you get mid-table sides with Andoni Iraola.
Unai Emery.
Unai Emery at Aston Villa, great example. In fact, it seems to have gone the other way, because now Manchester United have Michael Carrick and Liam Rossini at Chelsea.
Yeah, who are relatively unproven for the size of the job.
That's fair. That's fair to say. Relatively unproven. So, I mean, the Premier League has definitely. I mean, it's domestically, it's this greatest, I think, best league there is. So it's no surprise to see them dominating in Europe. We'll have to see.
What about the English teams in the Europa League? What do we make of that? Aston Villa, of course, second, but yet to play.
They're playing tonight against Salzburg. I should know that, obviously. Forest 16th, so we're in the playoff spot. But Forest have gone not too badly.
No, I think, to be honest, I think they would have liked to have done better. I know the league form hasn't been great this season with the chopping and changing of managers.
I don't know how to pronounce that. Forest play...
Ferencváros
tonight.
They're the Hungarians.
Yeah.
At the City Ground tonight, yeah.
Porto are playing Rangers. Celtic are playing Utrecht. They're from Switzerland, aren't they?
Utrecht are Dutch.
Dutch, yeah. Sorry, beg your pardon. They're Dutch. And Aston Villa playing at RB Salzburg, who are Austrian. So our British side, so we can just go back to the table again, Charlie.
Villa looking comfortably up there.
So I think Villa have to be one of... I'm not saying this from a place of bias. I think Villa have to be considered one of the favourites to win the Europa League this season. I think their greatest competitor would be Lyon, who are on 18 points. Exactly the same form. Very, very similar goal difference. Obviously, Lyon are just a little bit better in terms of goals scored. Freiburg, Midtjylland, Roma. I can't see anyone really beating Villa, maybe being a challenge to them. Can you see?
If you look at we know automatic qualification works the same as the Champions League.
Yeah, so the top 8 will go through. You're right, yeah.
And if you look at the top 8 currently, the difference between 8th, who is Real Betis, on 14 points, and the difference between 19th, Panathinaikos, is 11 points. So between 19th and 8th, anything can happen tonight, which makes it so exciting.
Let's see if we can do some very, very quick maths, something I'm not very good at. Sides that could potentially go through into the automatic, obviously Porto.
It's pretty much everyone from 19 downwards.
Yeah. Let's see who could sneak in to the playoffs. Celtic, Young Boys, and Lille, that's it, could drop out.
Well, I think anyone from Sturm Graz and above. So essentially that means that Celtic are hanging on by a thread. They have to get a big result tonight if they want any hope.
Yeah.
A minimum of a draw, I would say.
What would secure that?
Secure the playoffs.
Yeah, I think. Go Ahead Eagles are too far. So anyone from... So Rangers have nothing to play for tonight, essentially. They're 31st placed on 4 points. Go Ahead Eagles. The lowest is Salzburg and...
Sturm Bucharest.
Bucharest, yeah. They're the lowest, so they're ranked 29 and 30th.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the draw as well for both the Europa League and the Champions League playoffs happens tomorrow in Geneva. at 12. I think it's 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock
Yeah.
Central European time.
So we'll find out what the opponents are for the top 8. I mean, I believe that Villa are going to go ahead. And who do you predict will win the?
I think the Europa League. I think. Well, it's who have Leon got? Have Leon had a difficult game tonight?
Because
them two are obviously. Yeah, so they play PAOK from Greece,
yeah.
which will be. I think it'll be a difficult game because they've got obviously stuff to play for. So
Where are they in the table?
12th.
12th, yeah.
But
yeah,
I do think Villa will.
Welling with a shout of automatic qualification as well.
Who PAOK?
PAOK, yeah.
I think Villa will finish top, and the benefits you get from I think the top two will, if they both win anyway, I think that will be pretty good. I think Villa now are a heavyweight team, you could say.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know who else is a heavyweight?
It's a man who's very angry.
I'll give you a clue. He's been big in the news this week.
Yes, of course. Tyson Fury coming out of retirement.
Yes.
He's going
What
to.
do you make of that?
What do I make of that? I mean, look, he's cemented his place amongst the great boxers. He's a character.
Yeah.
I think we could say that he's an absolute character. I believe he got his son's a boxer as well, isn't he? Tommy.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tommy.
Is it his son or his?
It's his son. Yeah.
Yeah, it's his son. So obviously, I mean, for the story that's when was it announced? Yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's coming out of retirement. He's going to be. I can never say this.
Makhmudov.
Makhmudov, thank you. Makhmudov is going to be fighting him in April. It's going to be in somewhere in the UK. Do we know the exact location of the fight? It's in Britain somewhere. No, we don't know the exact location. That's yet to be confirmed. That's why we don't know. It's going to be on Netflix, though. Netflix has really made a stance on boxing in
just
recent
sports
time.
in general, actually.
Yeah, I mean, how long is it going to be before they get Premier League rights? It has to be coming because we've had Amazon.
Well,
with the
we know
Premier League,
streaming sports is a big thing now.
Yeah.
With the advertising and everything, it's a big market to get into. Is taking over from traditional streaming platforms and television broadcasts. But obviously, going back to Fury, I think it'll be his first fight since
time.
Since defeat to Usyk in December 24.
Yeah. He announced his retirement afterwards, but he's coming back. And it will be his first fight on home ground since he beat Derek Chisora at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, who, incidentally, Derek is going up...
I think that was the last time anything was won at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah, probably, most likely. Unless... I was talking to someone who's a Spurs fan. This is going off topic slightly. I was talking to someone who's a Spurs fan yesterday, and they're saying, if you ever go to Tottenham, make sure you go in the South Stand. I said, no, I want to go where the winners are, which would be in the away end.
Right, enough Spurs slander.
But yeah, no, he's been... He will be... Derek Chisora will be coming up against Deontay Wilder. Do you follow boxing at all, Leo?
The one boxer I ever followed, even more off topic, was Anthony Joshua. My interest lived and died with him, and then the most recent boxing match I ever watched now was that Logan Paul or which one was it?
Jake.
Oh, I don't care about him. Jake Paul, sure, against Anthony Joshua, and that was as someone else on the radio says, that boy took one hell of a beating. It was a very
There was
nothing
a little
fight.
smirk on his face before he did it as well.
When he was doing the drawback, it was great.
It was fantastic. Have you seen the memes that have come from that as well?
Yeah.
Spurred from it.
Yeah, but I mean, I just want to actually ask you both. I mean, you don't have to be a boxing expert to answer the question, but I just want to ask you. I mean, Fury is obviously aging now, and he's 37. I think we've seen obviously Mike Tyson come back in the ring for a paycheck essentially. do we think? How do you balance the safety of the fighters with almost?
How do you balance with the? Yeah, it's a good question, isn't it? Because when you're pulling out these granddads out of retirement, to get a paycheck, when do you get where do you put the limit? If you know what I mean, where do you put that safety? The answer, I guess, it just has to be done on a case to case basis, doesn't it?
Well, we have to rate the comeback. I think. What are your thoughts? If you have to give me a number 1 to 10.
If I had to give you a number of
the Fury coming back
of the Fury coming back, God, I'd say a 7.
So you're not actually that opposed to it?
I'm not opposed to it. I think 37 is kind of out of his prime, I'd say, for a boxer especially.
Yeah.
But as you said with Mike Tyson, it can be worse.
Yeah, okay.
And he's coming up against a formidable opponent as well, who's won 21 out of 23 fights. He beat Dave Allen in his last fight. Where do I rank it? Personally, I mean, I'll be honest, 37 isn't... 37's old. But, but I'll give it a 6. I'll be honest, I don't think... I think it's a little bit underwhelming.
Yeah, and obviously,
I don't think it's.
I mean, you're acting like he's finished. I mean, Fury's won 34 out of his 37 fights in his career. He's only lost 2 and drawn 1 in his whole career. You're acting like he's finished. I mean,
who did Mike Tyson go up against a couple of years ago? It was one of the Logan brothers, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a disaster. But
yeah, obviously that's a disaster. But we aren't talking Mike Tyson level retirement, who was deep into and woken up from his coma. We're talking about someone who was active only less than 2 years ago. I beg your pardon, less than 2 years ago, and he's won 34 out of 37, and he lost to his final fight was to Usyk, as we said before. But again, is it really that big of a comeback? It's going to be built up as one. Netflix is going to build it up because they need some. Now that Stranger Things has ended, they need to get some subscribers back. But is it that big? No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I still think it's Fury's household name. He's one of the best to ever do it, and I think people will still be watching no matter what. I think partly this is what it's about, but also maybe he's not done yet. What do we think about? I mean, obviously, there's the one fight that everyone of the British public want, Fury Joshua. We've been waiting years. Does this have an effect on that happening potentially?
Yeah, well, Sky Sports believe it will. They said that sometime in 2026, this was in December, it was reported earlier this month, as I say, this was reported December, that Fury and Joshua will finally meet in the ring this year, although it's yet to be confirmed. So actually, Fury's been plotting his comeback from retirement for a while now.
Yeah.
I reckon it was just a case of retire, get fit, get trained so that no one can obviously challenge him, and then burst back to take on Joshua.
Well, I think that's what this Makhmudov fight is all about. I think it's almost just a ease me back in sort of fight, and then towards the end of the year, I think you could be looking at, hopefully, if you're big boxing fans, one of the fights of all time.
I know this is really cynical, but even if Joshua was in a terrible accident recently, right? He survived and was unscathed, but we don't know what impact that may have had on his mental well-being, right?
Yeah, I mean that was mentioned as well.
So would it not be seem a little small? Is this the right time to, even if he goes in and beats Anthony Joshua, right? Should he have done it years ago? Should this fight have taken place years ago?
This fight should have happened when they was both at the peak.
Yeah.
A long time.
A long time ago.
Yeah. But I mean,
I couldn't agree more.
I still want to see it. I think the whole of our audience listening would agree with me.
Yeah. But how much of a fight would it be, and how much of an exhibition would it be?
Well, I feel like you're going to find out in this in his comeback, because what I'm personally thinking now, he lost and then went into retirement, but now I'm thinking now that he's back, is it just going to be? Is there only one way left to go?
Yeah.
I mean, he could just have an end to his career in a worst way.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, I mean, Fury's definitely left some knockout blows, and I think, speaking of knockout blows, I think Luke Littler in the darts, he's on top form, and obviously the World Darts Masters starts tonight after the prelims yesterday. I think we only left a little bit of time for the darts because I think it's almost like a 2-horse race. I think you've got Luke Humphries and Luke Littler, one of the Lukes. I mean, who are you boys backing before we go?
I'm going with Littler. I'll go Littler.
It's boring.
It's Littler.
Yeah, it is Littler. I think you just can't deny it. Obviously.
Well, we'll find out on Sunday evening. That's when the final is.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to discuss that more next week. But all that's left for me to say is thank you very much, Leo.
You're welcome.
I hope you enjoyed your debut on the Utter Radio News and Sports Show. Thank you very much, Aiden, as always, and to our team, obviously, in the gallery. We'll be back this time next week, next Thursday, to go over all the week's biggest stories and sport. But all for now, thank you very much for watching, for listening. Take care, have a good week.
Online and on the TuneIn app, this is the News and Sports Show on Utter Radio.